So number 15 here is nice. We won't actually have to rationalize at the end of this one. We won't be left with a fraction, so we won't have to worry about rationalizing. We will have to worry about simplifying a radical, though. So let's go ahead and let's get n squared all by itself. So we'll subtract 10 on both sides. We have 8n squared is equal to negative 160. We then can go ahead and get rid of the 8 on both sides. We'll just divide by 8. It cancels out the 8 on the left. And so we're left with just 1n squared is equal to, now negative 160 divided by 8, that's just negative 20. And then we're just going to take the square root of both sides to get rid of that square. Don't forget the plus and minus. And the square root of n squared, that's just going to be n, is equal to plus or minus the square root of negative 20. So we don't have a fraction, so we don't have to worry about rationalizing. But we do need to simplify that radical. So off to the side, I'll go ahead and do that. We have the square root of negative 20. The perfect square, remember, we look for perfect squares we can factor out. And the reason being is when we take the square root, we'll end up with whole numbers. So we can factor out a 4. That's a perfect square we can factor out. So we have 4 times negative 5 makes up negative 20. Now negative 5 doesn't have any more perfect squares associated we could actually factor out. So we're ready to go ahead and take the square root of everything here. The square root of 4 is just 2. The square root of negative 5, well, the square root of 5 is going to be irrational. We'll leave it like that. The negative part we'll take into consideration. We'll take the square root of, it would be just square root of negative 1, so we're just left with I there at the end. Okay. And so our final answer is n is equal to plus or minus 2 square roots of 5.